Arabs, right? And the left really believes that in Israel, right? Until they get, some of them wake up after being smacked. After there's a guy named Tzvi Cheskeli. He was a reporter for left wing news organization in Israel for many years, and he went around. He disguised himself. He looks very Arabic. He looks very Middle Eastern, and so he disguised himself as an Arab reporter, and he looks Arabic, and he would interview Arafat, Abbas, you know, all the sheiks and everything, and he would ask them, "What do you guys really want?" And they said this whole illusion of peace is just a joke. It's just a front, Trojan horse. We're trying to kill the Jewish people. We do not want any of them alive. We want them destroyed completely. And once he realized that, he grew up very left wing. All his family, everything, right? And they live with this idea of the conception. One day we won't need an army. One day we will live in total peace with the Arabs, right? Mm. And then he went in and he infiltrated and he asked them what they really want, right? And not from a westernized point of view, because they can always lie, right? But from like as if he's one of them. And they flat out said, this is a war between us and them, and we will not stop until they are totally annihilated. And this is what a huge segment of the Israeli population doesn't yet know or believe, and let alone the rest of the Western world.
Yeah.
Okay. The Middle Eastern world certainly knows it.
Yeah, I don't get after so many wars, so many intifadas, so many terrorist attacks, and then what happened on October 7th. I mean, maybe it's slowly starting to sink in, but it is bizarre. So one thing that's really upset me is when the horrible attack happened on October the 7th, I really expected the Israeli army to go in with overwhelming force and then get the hostages out. And it's been really disturbing to me is like, it doesn't seem in some ways that that's their motivate. Like that's not, and I don't know, and it's not the soldiers I'm talking about, but it seems like the generals, the politicians that are dictating the objectives, it doesn't seem in some ways like that's their main objective. I don't even understand how you can, for even one day, you would want to leave any Jewish person in Gaza, much less these young women that have been, violated. And it's been over a year. I mean, Bizrat Hashem, now they're talking about maybe they're going to be this ceasefire where they'll finally release the hostages. But once again, so to frame it in a different way, like I think the problem is like the whole idea of like the Israelis, the Zionists, it's like, Kochi v'otzem yadi, my strength, always my strength, we're not waiting for anyone to save us, never again. But it's like, where's all your strength? Because it's becoming clearer and clearer that we need Hashem's help. And without Hashem's help, it's going to be, I don't know. It's getting pretty scary. And then they have this obsession with the one protection they really have is all the Jews learning Torah and yeshiva, which is giving us all this spiritual protection, and merit that Hashem's helping us and save us. And they want to rip that up. I mean, it's like you're in a boat, the boat's sinking, and you want to rip it up faster. It's just this bizarre mindset. I find it like so disturbing. Right. And once again, when we go back to the beginning, this is not Abraham and Sarah's mission. The mission's not, to be atheists, to be, doing the same kind of secular idol worship as everyone, else in the world.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think it could be that because the modern state of Israel isn't the mission, that God, in his indirect ways, is sending the Arabs to remind the Israelis that they're not doing the mission?
Yeah, I think it's scary because I think a lot of Jews don't realize what's happening. And I think it's possible that Bezrat Hashem, even though there's a ceasefire, this has been unprecedented in modern Israeli history, that they've never had something go on this long. They've had these conflicts, but right, like you were saying before, they've been able to end them pretty quickly, come to some kind of ceasefire, and all they want to do is just go back to their life. right? They want to go back to their, their nice houses and their nice cars and their nice secular life, and they don't want to be bothered. But they're not doing the mission, and it's very disturbing, potentially, of what's happening now. And some of the big, like, so let's bring another factor, and we can come back to this. But like, so what do you think the Trump administration coming in? What do you think? What's the effect here? What's happening there?
So I think they're the ultimate no nonsense, no BS, meritocracy. Like we went into this lull for 4 years of participation trophyism, right? Men can be women, women can be men. This like everybody is one big world. Let's sing kumbaya together, and that's not really the facts on the ground, right? Facts on the ground is you have people who just want to be okay and just be um, business like and prosperous, and you have some people who want to end that. And I think the Trump administration will see that clearly and be like, okay, you guys who are business oriented, put an end to the people who are trying to put an end to your business matters. Okay, it'll be like no nonsense. And anybody's trying to fund you, we're going to cut that off and end that because it's not the prosperous things to do. It's been a battle of ideology, and the ideology has been either communism or capitalism, meaning being, laissez-faire, stay away from me, let me do my business and carry on, as opposed to no, everybody's got to be equal. We're gonna have the nanny state take care of everybody and everything, and just let's take down both sides. Let both sides destroy themselves, and then we're gonna build them up and have everybody sing kumbaya, right? And I think that's what the left wants and what has wanted. Or if you see them in the sinister plan that they always wanted war and like to fund the war machine and to keep the war machine going, and that's what they want. They want to fund both sides of the war and prosper from both sides of the war. That's on the left hand. I don't think the new administration is going to do that. I think they're going to be more, like you said off the video that we are that we're seeing two streams. The right is national secular, and the left is a globalist secular, right? And that's where we're splitting off to. But both are secular. Both don't have the real solution, right? As you stated off the record, that the real solution is God, and the real solution is going back to the source and our Father, our Creator, and that's really the way we'll get to real peace and prosperity in the world. But which side do we lean? Obviously, we lean towards the right side because they're more practical in terms of getting things done.
Right. See, I mean, I think it's a little bit of an illusion. Like, yeah, but we can talk about it. Like, is Trump really different? Is it just it's all like a game, right? So for sure, it seems like there's this establishment, no matter if it's like the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment, that they're somewhat, they call it like it's been called like the Uniparty, or we call it like the one world government crowd, the secular one world government crowd, the atheist government crowd, and they seem like they're all on the same page, right? They're on the same page, and I'll give you like an idea, like they're really all pushing the same agenda every day, even though they're pretending that they're all fighting with each other. And I'll give you a great example. All right, we're down to our 10-minute warning here. But I'll give you a great example, right? So Jaguar just comes out with this bizarre ad, right? This bizarre ad, all these like trans people, which is weird. I mean, you're supposed to be this company selling these luxury cars, but you're pushing this weird, like atheist, religious agenda. Just this weird stuff that we've been seeing in all the movies, the media, everyone's pushing it, right? But everyone's pushing it, right? So I'll give you an example. Like, so MSNBC, like they'll cover it, right? They'll cover the ad. They'll go, "Isn't this great? It's diversity. It's new frontiers, blah blah blah, whatever it is, whatever they're saying about it. It's great. This ad's great." Fox will show the exact same ad, and they go, "Isn't this horrible? There's no values here." So they're acting like they're like there's this cultural war, this like moral war, but they're all pushing the same thing. They're all constantly pushing the same thing. So I guess the big question is, I mean, this is kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of baffled me for a year. Like, what was it or is it about Trump that so has the establishment like, out to get? I mean, they've they've like all these crazy political lawsuits against him, two assassination attempts, like this, the 2020 elections was really fishy. But what is it? Like, is it that he really is like a little bit different from the establishment view? I mean, that, his daughter, I think he loves very much, like she's a Giorist. So is he, and his father like helped, a Jewish school. Like, are they more sympathetic towards, the Jewish people where maybe the establishment isn't? I don't know what it is with him, but yet then again, he'll associate with people that have some like anti-Semitic views. So is it just like all a big show, or is he really doing something very different? Oh, a connection, or is he doing something very different from the establishment? I don't know with him. It's so strange. Like,
Um, Listen, it's the greatest show on earth. If they hate him this much, I mean, like I've never seen anything like this. They just attack the guy. Again, we were also talking this off the video. Is that people have stopped paying attention to what the people are saying and doing, and rather more going after ad hominem attacks. They attack the person and not like what their policy, their position is, and so it's like why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And I think the American people were fed up with it, and that's what we saw in the last elections. They were fed up with it, and they chose the person who's just like, let's get down to business. Like,
yeah.
who cares what color you are, what race, nationality, like your sexual preference? It really doesn't matter. Let's just work together. Let's work together and solve our problems as opposed to try to demonize each other and try to bring down the country, bring down the state. So I don't know. If you believe the official narrative, he's the good guy. He's the great American hero coming to salvage everybody. And people, want to attack the character. Like, what do you want? You build a secular society, and he was the quote unquote best at doing the secular society.
Yeah.
Womanizer, businessman, cheat, not cheat. He beat the game, beat the system, amassed money, amassed women. You know what I mean? Raised the family, and like all you can go on is like the policies. Like, is he good to run the country or not? What is the president?
Yeah.
I'm not hiring a pope. I'm not hiring a priest or a rabbi. I'm hiring a guy to run the country. And if the country runs like a business, that's the best way because we're a capitalist society, right?
Yeah.
So like
I mean, what seems strange to me is it seems like now, like the establishment is embracing him. Like you saw the NFL like last week, everyone's doing the Trump dance all of a sudden. So it's weird, right? It's like, so I really don't know. Like, is it all a show? Is he really doing something different? But I want to get back to what we were talking about before. Like, right, in essence, what's America's mission? What's their goal, right? So religious liberty, that's nice, not killing each other. But in essence, really, like, what's America? It's really in a way, it's a secular atheist nation. And then there's this decadence, right? There's this immorality, there's this decadence.
nihilism, yeah.
And what's strange is it's like the Abraham Accords, like on the surface, it seems really nice. Like, okay, it'd be nice if like these Arab countries have, relations with Israel.